You're under arrest for the murder of William and Hilda Stone.
Everything is going according to plan.
These tests can't be right. Run them again. I can't be.
Lori, I can't do this. I can't let you get hurt.
Jacob, if you keep trying to get Nyla out, you might end up in there with her.
The Stone Empire is crumbling.
Your family got her into this, Jacob. Fix it.
Jacob, what are we going to do?
We're gonna fight like hell.
Say Less, I Love You. Season 4. Episode 3.
Chapter 3. 118. Jacob. I can't keep my eyes off the clock as I stride down the corridor of Stone Hospital, heading toward the administrative wing. The place bustles with its typical mid-morning rush, nurses in scrubs hurrying past, doctors conferring over patient charts, the faint hum of medical equipment echoing through the halls. Once upon a time, I owned these corridors as CEO. Now, I'm just an outsider in my family's hospital, an advisor at best, fielding stares from staff who have no idea how my life's come unraveled. I try to ignore it all, breathing slowly to keep my anger at bay. I push through glass doors into a large, sunlit office suite that used to be my domain. My chest knots at the memory, but I force myself to focus. I'm here to meet my sister Julia about the improvements we've been working on, break room refurbishments, staff morale initiatives, even community outreach programs. Anything to restore some goodwill after the catastrophic scandal that's battered Stone Hospital. My parents' sabotage, my fiancée Nyla's arrest, the meltdown in Donor Trust. Julia stands at the far side of the conference table, tapping away at a laptop hooked to a wall-mounted screen. She's in a charcoal suit, hair pulled back in a tight bun, shoulders squared like she's bracing for battle, which, in a sense, she is. The bullet points displayed on the screen read, break room renovations, staff outreach, local community clinics, budget overrun risk, among others. She glances over when I enter. "Jacob," she says, stepping forward. "You're early." I shrug, trying to project calm. Not by much. We said 10, right? I join her at the table, scanning the bullet points. "So, show me what you've got." Julia's expression is grim but determined. We finalized the first batch of improvements, things Lori flagged as high priority. New microwaves and fridges, better chairs in the nurse stations, fresh paint for a few battered walls. It's small, but staff morale might lift a notch once they see actual changes. She flicks to another slide, which details community outreach. We're also looking at a pilot program, sending mobile health clinics to underserved neighborhoods. Could simultaneously do good and help our public image. A pang of bittersweet memory hits me. That's what Nyla and I always wanted. A more charitable face for the hospital, I say softly, picturing Nyla's earnest eyes whenever we talked about expansions for free clinics. A swirl of sadness churns inside me. She's locked up now, for a crime she'd never commit, while the hospital we once dreamed of shaping evolves without her. Julia nods, her expression gentling. "I remember. It was your baby. Well, you and Nyla's, but I want to see it through." She flips to a budget tab, pointing out cost breakdowns. "Donors are still pulling out, but we have enough left for a limited outreach rollout. If we manage it right, we might lure some philanthropic investors back." My phone buzzes on the table, a text pinging. I glance at the screen, a message from Lori that reads, "Marcus is on a live interview. You need to watch this." My heart lurches, a sick heaviness twisting in my gut. Julia sees my alarm. "What's wrong?" she asks. "Marcus," I say through clenched teeth. "He's giving a live interview, apparently. Lori says I need to watch. God knows what he's saying." I grab the remote for the big screen. Julia curses quietly. "Let's see." She closes out the slides, flipping over to a local news channel. Immediately, the station banner reads, "Breaking news. exclusive with Marcus Swan, on why he faked his death. My rage surges, heart pounding at the man who's likely orchestrating half our misery and is definitely fueling the rumor mill that's crucifying Nyla. We watch in grim silence. The camera shows Marcus perched in a plush studio chair, wearing a tailored suit that radiates smug confidence. The text scrawl beneath him says, "Marcus Swan, I had to protect myself. From Nyla Thomas." That phrase alone has me breathing shallow, fists curling at my sides. The anchor leans in, feigning sympathy. "So, Mr. Swan, you claim Miss Thomas forced you to stage your death? Could you elaborate?" Marcus gives a calculated sigh. "Yes, well, Miss Thomas infiltrated the Stone family with an agenda. We have reason to believe she orchestrated William and Hilda Stone's tragic demise. My sources indicated I was next. To ensure my safety, I had no choice but to vanish for a time. My jaw sets so tight it hurts. Beside me, Julia's posture goes rigid, eyes flashing with fury. The anchor on screen nods as though Marcus is telling the gospel truth, prompting him further. He continues, "It pained me greatly, but I see now how cunning Miss Thomas is, seducing Jacob Stone, plotting to gain control of the hospital. She's proven willing to take drastic measures, murder, to accomplish her goals." Julia's voice trembles. "This lying snake," she flicks to another channel. Same coverage, different camera angles, same interview. Everywhere they're focusing on Marcus's bombshell statements, no doubt overshadowing facts that might exonerate Nyla. I can't watch another moment. I slam the remote down. "Enough," I hiss. He's twisting the narrative, painting her as a killer. The trial's soon and the public will swallow his poison. The jury might see these interviews. Julia powers down the screen, fear and anger warring in her eyes. "Jacob, don't do anything rash," she warns, reading my expression. "Please." He wants you to react impulsively, maybe lash out in front of cameras, then you look unhinged, confirming everything. But I'm already grabbing my coat. My heart roars with pent-up fury. I won't let him keep spouting this. I'll find that studio, confront him, force him to shut up. She steps in front of me, eyes pleading. "Confront him? How? By assaulting him on air? He'll spin it, painting Nyla as a manipulator who turns you violent. This is exactly the meltdown he wants." My gut burns, but she's not wrong. I can't just do nothing. I snap, raw emotion fraying my composure. "Then do something calculated," she urges. "Put out a statement, a calm rebuttal. Don't stomp into a live set, fists swinging. You'll sabotage Nyla's defense. The board's worried too. This meltdown hits the hospital's credibility all over again." I rip away from her, eyes blazing. "I know, but..." My phone buzzes again. Another message. I glance down. "Marcus is defaming her like crazy. Watch out." From Lori. My vision edges with red. "I can't stand by, Julia. I need to at least appear at that station, talk to him directly." She tries to protest, but I storm out of the suite, ignoring her calls. Staffers in the hall watch me pass, startled, but I barely see them. Rage courses through my veins. Marcus faked his death, overshadowed the entire investigation, and now he emerges as a supposed victim of Nyla's so-called vendetta? Not on my watch. I reach my car in the underground garage, practically throwing myself into the driver's seat. My mind buzzes with alarm bells telling me not to do this, but my heart begs me to set the record straight. Julia's texts flood my phone, unanswered. I'm on autopilot heading downtown where these local studios usually operate. If I can corner Marcus off camera, maybe I can make him back off, or at least see my face down. A fantasy, maybe, but fury blinds me to reason. Traffic is a blur of horns and brake lights, my tension mounting. The interview's likely finishing up, but maybe I can catch him leaving the station. I roll to a stop at a red light, knuckles white on the steering wheel. My phone pings. Julia again. Or maybe Lori. Probably urging me to calm down. I ignore it, checking the directions on my dash screen. The channel's address isn't far. 10 minutes later, I spot the station building, a squat, modern structure with tinted windows, a big channel logo posted out front. There's a cluster of news vans, a few reporters milling about. I swerve into a side parking lot, kill the engine, adrenaline surging. My phone pings again, the ring jarring my nerves. When I step out, I see a tall figure waiting near the station side entrance. Alexander, wearing a dark jacket, scanning the area with that composed posture he's perfected. My heart leaps. Did Julia call him? She must have. She wants someone to keep me from doing something insane. He moves toward me swiftly, face set. "Jacob, you can't go in there," he says, voice low but urgent. My frustration spikes. "Alexander, I need to stop Marcus from spouting more lies. You saw that interview, right?" He nods grimly. "Saw enough. Julia and Lori both texted me. Said you were coming here, about to confront him. That's a terrible idea, man." I narrow my eyes, anger flaring. "You don't get it. He's out there crucifying Nyla. She's already battered, stuck in prison, now pregnant." I pause, heart kicking. I just blurted it again. The same slip as earlier. Alexander's eyes widen in alarm. "Pregnant? Nyla's pregnant." He stares, shock evident. "You didn't say anything. Julia doesn't know?" I rake a hand through my hair, guilt tangling with fury. "I found out barely hours ago. Only told you. She got a blood test after that riot. It's real. She's terrified, and so am I." My voice cracks. I can't let Marcus use that child as ammunition or exploit it in the media. Alexander's face tightens with sympathy and anger. "Jacob, I'm sorry. That's massive. No wonder you're losing it. But going in there now to confront him on camera will do more harm than good. Marcus wants you to lash out, or he wants a scene to spin." I clench my fists, staring at the station's back exit. A wave of powerlessness washes over me. So I'm supposed to just watch him blacken Nyla's name? She's pregnant with my child, locked up, while he parades around telling the world she's a murderer. He steps closer, lowering his voice. "We'll fight him, but not like this. You storm in, and you hand him the perfect meltdown narrative. The prosecution will twist it in court, portray you as reckless, and if Marcus finds out about the baby, it'll be an even bigger fiasco." Trembling with rage, I exhale roughly. I hate that he's free to do this, hiding behind cameras, telling stories of how Nyla threatened him, forced him to fake his death. It's all bull. "I know," Alexander cuts in, "but you can't stop him by brute force. That's what he wants. You need to keep your head for Nyla's sake, for the baby's sake. Let's call her lawyer, craft a statement, or get a calm interview refuting his claims. That's better than a brawl." The mention of the baby pierces me, deflating some fury into sorrow. I slump against the side of the building. God, you're right. I just feel so helpless. She's pregnant, man. And in there, Marcus is painting her as some savage killer. Alexander rests a reassuring hand on my shoulder. "We'll fix this. First, you have to keep your cool." He glances around, noticing some curious onlookers. "Let's get out of sight. I have my car around the corner." I blow out a shaky breath. "I came in mine, but I'll follow you, or we can talk somewhere." He nods. "Yes. Let's get you away from here. That's a priority. Then we figure out how to keep Nyla safe inside. Marcus can't find out about the pregnancy. He'd weaponize it. And I have a plan to help protect her, but we can't discuss it in the open." My head snaps up. "A plan? To shield Nyla from more attacks in prison?" He nods seriously. "Something along those lines. Let's drive to a safer spot. No cameras, no eavesdroppers. I'll fill you in on the basics." My pulse quickens, half relief, half anxiety. If he has a plan, I exhale. All right, let's do that. We circle to the parking lot, my mind spinning with the day's chaos. Marcus's brazen interview, revelations of Nyla's pregnancy, this unstoppable rage gnawing at me. Alexander leads me to his sleek sedan, parked discreetly behind a news van. He gestures for me to hop in. I cast one last glare at the studio building. Even from here, I sense the toxic energy of reporters inside, finishing up the broadcast with Marcus's vile spin on events. My hands itch to tear that smug grin off his face. But Alexander is right. Fighting him physically, on or off air, is a trap. I climb into the passenger seat, my heart still pounding. Alexander slides into the driver's side, starts the engine, and smoothly pulls away. The day outside is bright, the city bustling, but my mood is dark. Nyla is pregnant, battered, slandered, awaiting a murder trial. Marcus free, giving interviews. It's a twisted reality. After a few blocks, Alexander merges into traffic, silent for a moment. Then he speaks quietly, glancing at me. "How are you holding up, Truly?" I let out a ragged sigh. "Barely. I only discovered her pregnancy a few hours ago. I'm reeling. She's terrified inside, especially after that riot. And now Marcus is out here fueling hate. I feel powerless." He nods, sincerity in his gaze. "I get it. But trust me, this plan I have might help protect her from any inside threats. It won't fix the trial or the meltdown, but it's a start. I can't explain yet, not here, but we'll talk." A swirl of confusion and hope churns in my gut. I want to press him for details, but he's obviously cautious about prying ears or watchers. "Okay," I say softly, clinging to that promise of a lifeline for Nyla. "I appreciate it, Alexander. I do. Just let me know as soon as we're secure." He flicks on his turn signal, heading out of downtown. My mind roams. What kind of plan can he possibly have? Something involving his newly restructured family business? Allies on the inside? Money? Muscle? Blackmail? I can't guess. But if it shields Nyla from further attacks and keeps the baby safe, I'll accept almost anything. We drive in tense silence, the hum of the engine the only sound. I glance out the window at the city moving on with life, people strolling, cars lined up at lights, the normal pulse of existence that feels so remote from my personal crisis. A stabbing wave of longing for normality hits me. We should be celebrating a pregnancy, not planning how to survive murder charges and sabotage. At the next light, Alexander stops, leaning back in his seat. "We'll need to coordinate with Lori and your sister, eventually," he murmurs. "But if you're not ready to tell them about the baby, that's your call. Just be aware time is short. The trial's looming and security inside the prison might shift quickly." I rub my temple. "I know. I'll tell them soon. Let me gather my thoughts. Julie is under so much strain. And if the press hears, I can't risk Marcus using it." He only nods, expression grave. Then the light changes and he steps on the gas. Outside, the city's skyline rolls past, each block taking us farther from the scene of my near confrontation. My phone buzzes again. I see multiple missed calls from Julia. A text from Lori that says, "You calm now? Good. Don't do anything insane." I show it to Alexander, who snorts softly. "I guess the cavalry mobilized to stop you," he says. "Lucky me," I reply, voice thick with irony. Then I stare out the window, the tension from earlier still thrumming under my skin. I can't shake the image of Marcus's smug face on that broadcast, telling the world he faked his death because my fiancée tried to kill him. Rubbish. But the public loves a salacious story. They'll eat it up. Alexander glances at me. "You're thinking about him?" I grimace. Hard not to. He's slandering everything. William and Hilda's real killers are walking free while he points at Nyla. Meanwhile, I just learned I'm going to be a father. My chest tightens again. I'd do anything to keep them safe, but I'm stuck watching the world spin out of control. He slows to make a turn. "Then let me help. We'll keep Nyla from more harm inside. The rest, like Marcus's public smear, requires a different approach. But first things first." I nod, heart thumping. All right, I trust you. I cling to that trust, the same loyalty that's bound us as best friends for years. In a moment, we'll be somewhere private, away from prying eyes, so he can detail how he plans to protect my pregnant fiancée behind prison bars. A swirl of apprehension and relief tangles in my gut. Whatever he's got in mind, it's better than me punching out Marcus on live TV. The car merges onto a quieter road, traffic thinning, the bustle behind us receding. A hush envelopes the sedan, my thoughts flicking to Nyla. I picture her battered face, the way her eyes brimmed with tears when she revealed she was pregnant. I remember the desperation in her voice, the love that still resonates between us despite the tragedy. She's counting on me not to blow it. Alexander's gaze stays forward, his knuckles tight on the wheel. At last he speaks, voice measured and low. We're almost there. Once we're secure, I'll tell you the plan. My breath catches. I want to press him for details, but I sense the conversation ends here. Something in his tense posture warns me he's not about to risk anyone overhearing. So I swallow the questions, letting the tension coil. If this plan can truly safeguard Nyla inside the prison, then I'll wait. We pass a final intersection, heading into a side street lined with tall trees. The sunlight filters through, casting shifting patterns on the car seats. I rest my head back, exhaling slowly, adrenaline draining. No matter how wild or risky Alexander's idea is, I need it. Nyla needs it. Because Marcus just declared open war, and we have so little time before the trial. In the hush, I close my eyes briefly. My phone's texts remain unanswered. I'll deal with them soon enough. For now, my mind drifts to the precious life growing in Nyla's womb, innocent of all this madness. Hang on, love. Hang on.
He's the mysterious man I had a fling with last night, and it turns out he's my dad's new boss.
I was getting IVF, but the donor came in and wanted his stuff back. It was too late. Now we're stuck together and I'm having his baby.
Ready to dive into a world where passion meets intrigue, where love knows no bounds.
If I don't find a woman to marry in the next 24 hours, then my entire company is going to be taken from me. There's only one woman I can ask, but she hates me because I ruined her father.
Introducing the Escape Your Life with Romance Book Bundle by Amazon best-selling author Nyla Walker, a collection of 100 standalone romances that promised to sweep you off your feet.
And the best part?
Get 90% off on the whole bundle, baby.
For $99.99, you'll get over 800 hours of pure romance with strong alpha males and sassy women who don't back down.
They can pass all the tariffs they want, ladies. But you won't find this deal for 100 audiobooks for less than $1 each anywhere else.
90 cents per book for all the dirty fun I can handle? How could I say no to that?
Visit TylaWalker.com to grab this bundle today.
Get ready to escape your life
With Miss Nyla.
Chapter 319, Trixa. I linger backstage, straining to listen as my father, Marcus Swan, holds court in front of the press. The stage lights blaze on the small makeshift platform, highlighting him while leaving the rest of us in dusty shadows. My heart thuds, and I grip the cold metal railing, wishing I could shut out his words but too transfixed to leave. Had no choice, he declares, a microphone clipped to his lapel. The crowd of reporters, probably 30 or more, sits rigid, cameras rolling. When I discovered Nyla's real plans, I realized my life was in danger. That's why I faked my death. Otherwise, she would have come for me first. I taste bile. Tension thrums in every muscle, the story so twisted that I almost can't believe he's spinning it with such smooth confidence. The cameras capture each clipped word, each strategic pause. I glance over to see a line of production crew exchanging wide-eyed glances, some biting their lips. They know scandal sells. but even they look rattled by the sheer gall of Marcus's claims. He flicks a glance toward the bright overhead lights, letting them highlight his carefully staged grief. Nyla ingratiated herself into the Stone family, knowing it was my main connection. She seduced my daughter Trixa's fiancé once upon a time. He stops himself, realizing that detail might complicate his script, then recovers with a dramatic exhale, and wormed her way to Jacob Stone. Then she systematically eliminated William and Hilda. She almost had me too. I clenched the railing, a cold knot in my stomach at the mention of my fiancé fiasco. Once, Jacob and I were engaged, though it never felt quite right. Now, Marcus is rewriting history to cast Nyla as some cunning black widow. I want to scream, it's not true. Instead, I watch him lean into the microphone, describing how he had irrefutable proof of her guilt, how she sabotaged the Stone parents' car, painting her as a heartless killer. My nails dig into my palms. The entire time, I recall the truth as I know it. Nyla is no murderer. She might be stubborn, sometimes reckless, but she never sought to kill anyone. She's in prison now, battered and alone. Meanwhile, my father spews a narrative that leaves me sick. Applause from a few jaded journalists makes my blood boil. "You're so brave," one calls out sarcastically, though Marcus pretends it's genuine. Another question floats up. "Mr. Swan, can you confirm Ms. Thomas's motive?" "Money, power," he states, jaw tight. She meddled with the Stone Hospital's biggest projects. She sought control. Murder was her tactic. An uneasy hush descends, and the anchor in a crisp suit nods gravely, urging Marcus for more details. My ears ring with the unspoken question, has he truly lost his mind? He wraps up the press conference by promising new evidence soon, urging the public to hold Nyla accountable. A final flash of camera lights. I step back behind a tall crate of equipment, not wanting to be seen. My father finishes with an air of tragedy, stepping away from the podium. Applause mingles with tension. A swirl of reporters cluster around, but security hustles him through an exit on the side. I force down the rising wave of nausea. He's done it. He's gone public, shifting blame to Nyla with even more venom than I feared. My throat feels tight. Something about his performance was so polished it scares me. He truly believes these lies? Or is he just that vicious? Nyla is his daughter, too. What if I'm the one that made the mistake? God, I step away, taking a deep breath as I compose myself. If he can do this to his blood-related daughter, damn it. One of Marcus's aides, a tall man in a black suit, strides past me, directing staff to a backstage lounge. My father might be heading there to wind down. I slip behind him, ignoring my own dread. I need to confront him. Ask if he meant everything. My heart beats a frantic cadence. He can't be serious. Can he? Security guides him into a small green room, a battered couch, a table with leftover snacks, and a single overhead lamp. I hover at the threshold, pulse raging. The door stands half open. I see Marcus inside, handing his phone to an aide, ordering him to check the social media reactions. The last reporter tries to follow, but security waves them off. Gathering my nerve, I push the door open. My father glances up, eyes flickering with recognition. "Trixa," he says, voice clipped. "You saw the interview?" I step in, shutting the door behind me. "Yes," I manage. My voice comes out smaller than I want. What the hell was that? He grimaces, brushing off invisible dust from his suit lapel. "Damage control, Trixa. We can't let Nyla's false narrative stand. I'm sure she's preparing something. We attack first." She forced my hand. He stands near the battered couch, a swirl of tension in his posture. "You of all people should understand how dangerous she is." I cross my arms, fighting to steady my breathing. "I get that you despise her, but you pinned every Stone death on her. Some plan to seduce them and kill them in cold blood? You realize how insane that sounds?" His eyes blaze with something dark. "You think it's insane? She infiltrated everything we built, Trixa. She manipulated Jacob. She altered Neuromax. She destroyed years of research. You saw what she did, how she meddled in Stone Hospital's expansions. She was unstoppable. So yes, I had to fake my death to protect myself." My jaw tenses. Nyla messing with Neuromax doesn't equate to her murdering your old business partners, let alone faking your death. Dad, you're unraveling. This entire story stinks of desperation and vengeance. People might see through it. He narrows his gaze. Would they? The public loves a sensational story, especially with evidence. A flash of worry lances me. Evidence? You said you have more? You're forging it, aren't you? My chest tightens. This is your big play? To bury Nyla with faked documents and smear campaigns? Marcus sets his jaw. She destroyed our formula, Trixa. Do you remember how we struggled for years to perfect Neuromax? Nyla's sabotage wasted all that. She's not innocent. He lowers his voice, noticing staff outside passing by. I can't let her ruin me or the legacy we built. I press my lips together, recalling how everything got so convoluted. Nyla's conflict with Kevin Shaw, her controlling shares, the tampered formula. Sure, she might have done questionable things, but murder? She's no killer. Dad, I say, forcing calm. I know you're angry, but you're spinning conspiracies that serve no one. You think the Stone name is battered now? If you keep this up, you'll drag our entire family down. Nyla might be an irritant, but framing her for murder. He cuts me off with a hiss. Frame? She's guilty, Trixa. Besides, I have bigger reasons than you realize. Silence hangs, thick with tension. I flick my gaze around the cramped green room, noticing the restless aide in the corner, scanning phone updates. Another wave of anger churns in me. Does Dad not see how unhinged he sounds? Then his voice lowers further, dangerous. I know about her pregnancy. The words drop like a rock. My stomach plunges. What? I say, pulse wild. How? You can't be serious. She's pregnant? He regards me coolly, scanning my face to see my reaction. Yes, an informant inside the prison told me. She discovered it after that cafeteria riot. They moved her to protective custody. So, you see, Trixa, we have new leverage. A child fathered by Jacob Stone. This complicates everything. A jolt of shock runs through me. Nyla pregnant? In prison? My mouth goes dry. Dad, you can't possibly be thinking of using an unborn child as a bargaining chip, I hiss, outraged. He lifts a shoulder in a half shrug. It's a tool to ensure she can't wriggle out of accountability. The public will devour the scandal. The pregnant murderer behind bars, carrying the Stone heir. She tries to brand herself as a victim? We have proof she's manipulative enough to conceive a child to evoke sympathy. I stare at him, horror rising like bile. You've lost your mind, I whisper, chest squeezing painfully. This is a baby, Dad. A living, innocent being. And you want to smear it as a weapon? He stiffens, eyes flashing with that domineering spark I grew up fearing. Watch your tone, Trixa. We're playing a high-stakes game. If she stirs the pot from inside or tries to spin the narrative at trial, we'll counter with everything. She's the reason I had to vanish, the reason William and Hilda are dead. You don't know that, I snap. My eyes widen a fraction as I stare at my father. Marcus truly believes in his own lies. He brainwashed himself to believe it. Damn. Stop blaming her for everything. Even if she messed with Neuromax, the sabotage that killed the Stones might be someone else's doing. Or your own. You fake dying doesn't prove she's a murderer. My voice trembles. Dad, you're dancing on the edge of a very dark cliff. He growls, stepping closer. The aide looks uneasy, shifting near the door. She's pregnant with Stone blood. That means the Stone family might rally behind her if they see her child as an heir. We must destroy her credibility fast. I shake my head, tears prickling. I can't believe you'd stoop this low. Even if she is your enemy, how can you exploit her unborn child? You're risking everything. Our legacy, our family name, your own sanity. His nostrils flare. It's a matter of survival, Trixa. She betrayed us all. She's cunning. If I let her slip free, she'll come after me next, or sabotage more. The mention of betrayal stirs my own guilt. I had a hand in the early schemes, souring my relationship with Nyla. But murder? That was never on the table. I rub my forehead, the swirl of confusion almost overwhelming. Dad, this is madness. The press might buy it short term, but the truth might surface. Don't you worry about being exposed? He lifts his chin. I have enough contacts and resources. The evidence will stand. The public wants a scapegoat, and I'm giving them the real culprit. She set everything in motion. She tampered with Neuromax, colluded with Kevin Shaw, twisted Stone Hospital's expansions to her advantage, seduced Jacob. She's the root of it all. Once the jury sees the bigger picture, she'll be locked away for life. Sick dread pulses in my stomach. If he truly wields new forgeries or blackmailed witnesses, he could bury Nyla. She's pregnant, battered, and can't defend herself. My mind reels with the implications. I realize with a jolt of horror that I might be partially responsible, helping Dad with earlier manipulations, fueling distrust toward her. But I never wanted it to go this far. Dad, I say softly, voice trembling, you're going to ruin everything. Our family's legacy, your own soul. This is bigger than you. We might collapse under the weight of scandal. And Nyla's child, I swallow. Don't we have any shred of humanity left? He glares, menace flickering. Don't lecture me, Trixa. She made her bed. She destroyed Neuromax. She took away your fiancé. Or did you forget how humiliating that fiasco was? That's not the point. I never wanted her life destroyed. I didn't want this unending vendetta. Marcus's jaw tightens. You're either with me or against me. Which is it? I stare at him, tears threatening. I can't watch you become this twisted monster, Dad. You're the one who always told me family is everything. Yet you want to weaponize an unborn baby? Are you hearing yourself? He breathes heavily, eyes glinting with something like madness. I've done what I must. If you're too soft to see it, stand aside. He picks up a water bottle from the table, sipping sharply. Then he waves to the aide. We're leaving. Next stop, the board meeting. They want more details. The aide nods, stepping out to coordinate. My heart races. Please, Dad, I whisper, stepping in front of him, voice pleading. Don't push this further. There's time to reconsider, to let the legal system handle the Stone murders. You don't have to sabotage everything. He narrows his eyes. They forced my hand. Nyla forced my hand. A cold smirk tugs at his lips. Now I have inside info about her pregnancy. I can up the stakes. Let Jacob see how his fiancé is more cunning than he knows. Let the public see it too. My entire body shakes with rage and sorrow. This baby is innocent, I say, voice trembling. Please, for once, don't cross that line. He watches me, expression flickering with the faintest regret, then shudders over. You're naive, he mutters. If Nyla is truly innocent, let her prove it. But if she's the murderer we suspect, no child changes that. I can't speak. My throat closes. He brushes past me, stepping into the hallway, the aide at his heels. He's off to spin more lies or threaten more people, maybe sow more chaos. I remain in the green room, chest heaving, tears burning. Is this truly my father? The man who funded half the hospital expansions, who taught me the basics of reading a financial sheet? He's transformed into a vengeful puppet master. A stagehand peeks in, eyes wide. Miss Swan, you okay? They're clearing the set. I exhale unsteadily. Fine, I lie. Then I slip into the hallway, noticing a few leftover reporters milling about, cameras still rolling. I keep my head low, hugging the wall. I can't face them, not after hearing Dad's plan. The knowledge that he's discovered Nyla's pregnancy roils in my mind, overshadowing everything. If he publicly reveals that detail, it could overshadow the entire trial. He can brand her as manipulative, seeking pity from the jury, or maybe threaten to harm her unborn child's future if she somehow gets out. The possibilities chill my blood. I rush down the corridor, ignoring glances from the anchor who stands near the makeup booth. The entire building buzzes with the aftermath of Marcus's sensational interview. He's out there controlling the narrative. I slip out a side exit. The alley behind the studio smells of stale coffee and garbage. My heart thuds against my ribs, lungs working overtime. What do I do now? I recall the swirl of guilt that's dogged me for months. I played a part in earlier manipulations. but I never wanted this to escalate into a murder charge, a father fixated on vengeance. And now a baby is involved. My eyes brim with tears as I imagine that unborn child stuck with a mother behind bars, courtesy of my father's unhinged vendetta. A security guard tries to usher me toward the front, but I wave him off, pulling my phone from my purse. I consider texting Jacob, telling him what I overheard, that Dad's discovered Nyla's pregnancy, plans to use it as leverage. My finger hovers, then I freeze. Jacob might be in meltdown mode. I don't want to panic him more. Then again, maybe he needs to know. But would Marcus want me to do that? My mind spins, second-guessing every move. Dad's final words ring ominously. You're either with me or against me. I slip the phone back without messaging. I can't do this in a text. Maybe I should talk to Jacob in person or find a discreet channel to warn him. Because if Dad fully weaponizes the knowledge of Nyla's pregnancy, it could push this fiasco into unimaginable territory. The child might be used as a bargaining chip, or Dad might spin some twisted story about how Nyla planned the pregnancy to manipulate the Stone estate. God, I can't let that happen. I pace the alley, tears threatening. Another chunk of me wonders if I should speak out publicly, say my father's lying. But would that help? Or would it just cause more chaos? The Stone family meltdown is already at a fever pitch. My stepping in might create new headlines. Marcus Swan's daughter versus Marcus. As I stand there, it strikes me how alone I feel. I used to trust my father implicitly. Now I see a man twisted by paranoia, or maybe just raw thirst for retribution. I used to resent Nyla, but I never wanted her life destroyed, especially not now that a baby's in the mix. The memory of her timid kindness at my worst health crisis edges into my mind. She tried to help me once, even donated bone marrow. A shout from the studio's side door breaks my reverie. Dad emerges, flanked by 2 aides. He spots me and gives a curt nod, stepping my way. I stiffen, uncertain what he wants. He comes close, voice low. Trixa, you're upset, I get it. But remember what I said. We do what we must. Keep your doubts to yourself if you can't see the bigger picture. I swallow. She's pregnant, Dad. You can't ignore that. He frowns. I won't ignore it. I'll use it if necessary. Now, are you leaving with me, or do you have your own ride? My stomach churns. I'll manage on my own, I murmur. I can't watch you throw more gasoline on this fire. He sneers, but he's clearly pressed for time. Suit yourself. Just keep your mouth shut about the pregnancy if you know what's good for you. We'll reveal it when it's most strategic. My temper flares, but I bite my tongue. If I lash out now, it'll do no good. He strides away, aides hustling to keep up, stepping into a sleek black car that's waiting. The engine revs, and they're gone, leaving me in the alley with a swirl of conflicting emotions. I want to scream. The father I once adored is unrecognizable. He's forging a monstrous story, willing to exploit an unborn grandchild. My chest aches with the weight of guilt and horror. If I'd never helped Dad push some initial manipulations, maybe none of this would have escalated. Chilled by the afternoon breeze, I step onto the sidewalk. Pedestrians hustle by, phones in hand, oblivious to the world-shattering drama in my life. Maybe somewhere a TV in a store window replays Dad's interview, fueling the rumor mill further. I imagine the anchor's follow-up coverage, how watchers across the city are forming opinions about Nyla. Meanwhile, she's stuck behind bars, pregnant, battered by a prison riot. It's too cruel to process. I hail a cab, slip inside, ignoring the driver's curious glance at my anxious expression. The moment he pulls away from the curb, I bury my head in my hands. What am I supposed to do? The taxi rattles through city streets, each bump jostling me deeper into turmoil. My phone pings with notifications from news sites. Marcus Swan's shocking claims. Stone family saga continues. Murder accusations resurface. I can't look. The driver notices my distress in the rearview mirror. Ma'am, you okay? I force a nod, voice shaky. Just drop me 2 blocks east of Stone Hospital, please. He nods, letting the subject drop. My father's meltdown might be front-page news, but the city's daily grind marches on, ignoring my personal crisis. 1,000 possible actions swirl in my mind. Running to Jacob, telling him everything I overheard, warning him that Dad knows about the pregnancy. Or maybe going to the press with the truth, that Dad's forging half these claims. Yet the idea terrifies me. Dad is unscrupulous. If he sees me betray him publicly, he might lash out at me or double down. My heart clenches at the memory of his warning. You're either with me or against me. Could I face him if I choose the latter? We reach my drop-off point. I pay the driver with trembling hands and step onto the sidewalk. The cold air stings my cheeks. A block away, Stone Hospital's towers loom, but I hesitate to approach. The building stands as a reminder of everything my father claims Nyla infiltrated. If only those walls could talk, revealing the real manipulations that hammered her. I recall how Nyla once roamed those halls saving lives, and now she's behind bars, painted as a murderer. I find a quiet bench near a small park, slump onto it, burying my face in my hands. I keep hearing Dad's voice. She's pregnant. Now we have more leverage. A fresh wave of revulsion grips me. This is going too far. My father's lost his moral compass if he had one left. He's turned his vendetta into an obsession. At last, I lift my head, inhaling a shaky breath. I can't keep enabling him. Guilt simmers. I might be complicit by staying silent, but fear tangles with my conscience. If I cross him, I might lose everything. Support, inheritance, or worse. He's proven ruthless. Yet if I do nothing, an innocent woman remains trapped, her unborn child used as a pawn. The thought churns my stomach. I stand, hugging my arms. The park is quiet, just a few joggers. A child squeals from a swing set, reminding me of the baby Nyla carries. That child might never know freedom if Dad has his way. Something inside me hardens. I have to do something. Even if it's a small step, even if I can't fully dethrone Dad's scheme, I can't let him drag our entire legacy into the abyss. Wringing my hands, I consider my next move. Maybe I can discreetly alert Jacob that Dad knows about the pregnancy. Let him brace for that bullet. He deserves a chance to protect Nyla from further sabotage. But how? Dad's watchers might track my calls, or he might have eyes in the hospital. Screw it. I rummage for my phone, feeling a wisp of determination. Maybe I'll text him from a burner phone, or meet him off-site. Something covert. I pace the sidewalk, ignoring passers-by. If I contact Jacob, the risk is that Dad finds out. But if I stay silent, the risk is Nyla pays the ultimate price. Her baby's future is overshadowed by my father's manipulations. No, I can't let that happen. Resolve surges, warring with the fear that Dad's threat weighs over me. I'm done blindly supporting him. This has to end. My father can't see reason. He's lost in a vortex of obsession. If I can't talk sense into him, maybe I can quietly sabotage his plan from the inside or at least warn Jacob. A beep from my phone. Another news alert about Marcus's interview trending on social media. I grimace, flipping it face down. No more. I find a quiet corner behind a row of trees, heart pounding, already drafting a mental plan. Possibly I can talk to Alexander or Lori. Maybe they'll help me figure out how to pass the information about the pregnancy or about Dad's next moves without raising suspicion. My chest heaves as I recall Dad's final threat. Keep your mouth shut or step aside. I won't stand aside while he destroys an unborn child's mother with trumped-up charges. If that means betraying him, so be it. This is bigger than family loyalty. I notice the time. It's midday. People stream in and out of the hospital a block away, living their normal lives. Meanwhile, a pregnant woman rots in prison for murders I suspect Dad might know more about than he admits. Shoving my phone into my purse, I hurry across the street, determined to plan carefully. No more passivity. A swirl of fear and guilt tangles in my gut, but also a spark of resolve I haven't felt in ages. I vow to do something. Maybe contact Jacob or an ally. I can't fully unravel Dad's manipulations alone, but I can feed the right people the truth or at least the warnings. Let them shield Nyla if they can. My father's next press stunt might reveal her pregnancy to the world, spinning it as evidence of her cunning. Before that, I need to get the word to someone who can brace her. Stepping through an unmarked side entrance of Stone Hospital, one typically used by staff, I keep my head low. I recall how Dad insists the entire Stone family is compromised. But seeing the bustle of doctors and nurses who genuinely care for patients, I realize not everything is corrupt. I hurry along a corridor, heading for an elevator that can take me to a deserted administrative floor. My mind reels with half-formed ideas, meeting Jacob off-site, leaving an anonymous tip to his phone, or something. The ache in my chest intensifies. I'm sorry, Father. I think bitterly, pressing the elevator button. But you're not the man you once were. I can't let you devour Nyla, and that child, in your quest for revenge. The elevator dings, doors sliding open. As I step in, I can't help glancing at my reflection in the polished interior. Dark circles rim my eyes, tension lines bracket my mouth. The price of living with Dad's madness. What if he finds out I've turned against him? Fear roils. He could lash out at me too, but I swallow it down. Some lines can't be crossed, not even by him. I can't just watch. The elevator ascends. Each floor that passes cements my resolve. Soon, I might be betraying Dad's secrets or undermining his next press stunt. But at least I'll preserve some shred of conscience. If I can't rescue Nyla personally, I can tip the scale, hamper Dad's vile plan, ensure no one else gets roped into his spiral of deceit. Maybe that's the best I can do. I exit on a quiet floor, heading to an unused conference room. The sterile hum of HVAC systems lingers. My footsteps echo as I fish out my phone. Time to make a call. Yet I hesitate, fear nearly locking my fingers. One push, Trixa. In my mind, I see Nyla's face, uncertain, naive, never wanting this war. Then I see Dad's. I'm sorry. I dial a number, each ring pounding in my chest. However it goes, I know there's no turning back once I break ranks. My father's path leads to ruin, and if I remain silent, an innocent pregnant woman might pay the price. I can't have that on my conscience. My phone continues to ring, each beep echoing in the deserted hallway. My pulse roars as I consider the turmoil my father's sure to unleash if he learns of my betrayal. I recall his final words. Stand aside if you can't see my vision. No, Father. I won't stand aside while you commit this travesty. The call connects, a voice answers softly. I swallow, forcing my tone steady. I need to talk, I say in a hushed voice. It's urgent. There's something you have to know about Nyla. And Marcus. We can't do this by phone. Meet me in person. Soon. My stomach clenches, nerves on fire. The voice on the line murmurs an affirmative. I exhale shakily. I will do what must be done, even if it means confronting Dad's wrath. Because no matter my complicated history with Nyla, I can't let a pregnant woman remain a pawn in a father's vendetta. I hope I'm not too late. Ending the call, I slip the phone into my purse, heart thrumming with both dread and relief. I glance at the empty corridor, aware that every step from here is a gamble. I love you, Dad. But I'm not letting you drag us all into your vortex, Father. My eyes burn with unshed tears. I pivot, walking swiftly toward the elevator again, out into the world where a storm of scandal rages. My father can do his worst, but I'm done standing by. I have to try stopping him, if not for Nyla's sake alone, then for the child that deserves more than to be a pawn in Marcus Swan's obsession.
You know that feeling when a book pulls you in, wraps around you, and refuses to let go? When the tension is so thick, you swear you can feel it?
Welcome to 30 sinfully addictive romance audiobooks that will ruin your sleep.
Wow, I wasn't ready for this. One chapter in, and I'm already hooked.
Oh, you thought this was just another audiobook collection. No, sweetheart. This is the Dirty 30. Forbidden love, dangerous desires, billionaires with secrets, bad boys who bite back. And every last word is dripped in temptation.
I thought I could just listen to one chapter before bed. Now it's 2 a.m. and I need answers. Need.
So what are you waiting for? Click the link. Start listening. Let the Dirty 30 ruin you in the best way possible.
Escape your life with Miss Tyla.
Chapter 320, Alexander. I stand at the head of the long mahogany table, eyes scanning the tense faces assembled around it. Every seat is occupied by an old-school member or a newly loyal lieutenant of the Solikov organization. My organization now, ever since I overthrew Ivan and stepped into the top seat. The room smells faintly of leather and cigar smoke, undercut by an unspoken friction. Half the men here were once Ivan's unwavering loyalists. The other half pinned their hopes on my promise to move us toward legitimacy. Tensions swirl like a hidden tempest. I clear my throat, laying my palms on the table. We can't keep splitting our efforts, I say, my tone measured. We have 2 supply lines, one entirely legal, providing linen services to Stone Hospital and other clients, and one that still traffics in questionable merchandise. We either cut the latter or risk a meltdown. A hush falls. Torvald, an older man with a pockmarked face, folds his arms. Easy to say, Alexander, but we made fortunes on those shipments. Slashing them means losing money and alliances. I breathe slowly, scanning the room. And we've hemorrhaged bigger fortunes trying to keep it quiet. The authorities keep sniffing around, the board's restless, and half the old deals are compromised. Meanwhile, we're building a legitimate empire. Stone Hospital's new linen contracts alone are worth millions if we do it right. A ripple of muttered discontent runs through the old-school men. One of them, Sergei, leans forward. We never signed on to be squeaky clean. That's not how the Solikov family built its influence over decades. I suppress a flash of annoyance. They cling to the old ways. Jacob's words echo in my head. You can't reason with them. You must outmaneuver them. I focus on responding calmly. Times change. The more we cling to contraband, the more law enforcement we attract. I want us to survive, not end up behind bars or under perpetual investigations. Murmurs bounce around. A few loyal supporters, like Dmitri and Olya, nod in agreement, while others remain stony-faced. I catch Olya's eye. She gives me a small, supportive smile. She once backed Ivan unwaveringly, but switched to me after I showed signs of bringing real profits through clean channels. She helps keep the more moderate old-school members from revolting. I square my shoulders. We voted last month to pivot fully legitimate within the year. If that's too abrupt, we can compromise on a phased approach, but no more indefinite half-criminal operations. We're too exposed, especially with the police investigating old caches and the upcoming trial overshadowing everything. A stir at the mention of trial. Nyla's murder case and the meltdown around Stone Hospital have inadvertently dragged our group's name into the city's rumor mill. There's no direct link, but old ties are always suspicious. The last thing we need is the district attorney poking around for any reason. Dmitri stands, smoothing his tie. Let's finalize a phased approach. We can shutter the contraband lines region by region. Keep minimal deals short-term until we build a bigger legit profit margin. The old guard gets time to adjust. Alexander gets a timeline for cleaning up. We all compromise. Torvald nods grudgingly, crossing his thick arms. Fine, as long as we don't burn every contact overnight. Some of us rely on that income. I exhale quietly in relief. This might be progress. We'll do it in phases, I confirm. stepping around the table to pass out newly drafted schedules. We start with shutting down the most problematic routes, the ones already on law enforcement's radar. Then we expand the legitimate linen operation with Stone Hospital, plus other medical facilities. More deals, more transparent income. We track the numbers monthly. If all goes well, by next quarter, we can slash the final contraband lines. They leaf through the documents. Tension lingers, but the immediate confrontation eases. I sense some acceptance. We might be forging a fragile unity. Good. The last thing I need is a revolt that brings us to war. Just as we move to the next agenda item, some property taxes issue. My phone vibrates in my jacket pocket. Usually, I'd ignore calls during these crucial meetings, but something in my gut says, check it. I discreetly slip it out, glancing at the screen. A coded message from Mikhail, one of my top enforcers. URGENTCALLASAP. Alarm twinges in my belly. Mikhail wouldn't interrupt unless it's dire. I hold up a hand. Apologies. I need a moment. Without waiting for an objection, I step from the table, heading to a corner of the room near the tall windows. People exchange curious looks, but they keep conversing in low tones. Phone to my ear, I hiss, "Mikhail, this better be important." His voice crackles with tension. "Boss, it's the mansion. The safe house where we transferred Ivan to recover. Someone bombed it." I freeze, blood draining from my face. "Bombed?" I echo, almost not believing my ears. "What about Ivan's guards, the medical staff?" He sounds grim. "All dead. The entire wing collapsed. We found bodies, some unrecognizable. But Ivan's not among the dead. He's gone. We suspect someone took him." My stomach plunges, the phone slipping in my sweaty grasp. Ivan, kidnapped. After I seized control from him, we kept him under sedation, recovering from that alleged suicide attempt. "You're sure he's missing?" "Yes. We sifted rubble for hours. No sign of him. The caretaker nurse was found shot outside. Others killed by the blast. It's a bloodbath." I run a hand through my hair, heart racing. Who would do this? Some loyalists wanting to free him? Or an enemy wanting leverage? Mikhail sighs. "We're not sure. Could be old associates who disliked you taking over, or rival factions. Could be a new player. Fact is, he's gone. Vanished." My mind reels. If Ivan's in captivity, forced by whoever bombed that mansion, he might be used as a weapon. He knows too much about the Solikov family's secrets, our deals, our vulnerabilities. If he's tortured, or if he decides to strike a deal. "Where are you now?" I ask, voice tight. On site, sifting the debris with what's left of our men. Police are inbound. We can't hold them off. They'll want an investigation, but we've done our best to remove anything incriminating. You need to handle the media if it surfaces. I press my forehead to the window glass, ignoring the cold sensation. My meeting is still going behind me, but everything's changed in an instant. All right, keep me updated. Start searching for intel on who might have orchestrated this. We need leads. He confirms, then ends the call. I stand there, phone in hand, stunned. Ivan's entire safe house was bombed, the staff slaughtered, and he's missing. This is more than a skirmish. It's an act of war. After a moment, I force my face into a mask, turning back to the table. The men hush, noticing my shaken expression. Torvald eyes me warily. I clear my throat. Emergencies come up. I need to adjourn this meeting. Puzzled murmurs rise. Emergency with the linen side? Sergei asks. I wave it off. Personal matter. Another time. Dmitri, Olya, coordinate the next steps we discussed. Keep the plan rolling. No one dares press me further. They sense the gravity in my tone. With curt nods, they gather their folders. I hurry from the conference room, each step heavy with dread. Ivan was effectively my prisoner, sedated for his own safety. Now he's abducted or rescued by unknown forces. In the corridor, my phone pings with more texts from Mikhail. Pictures of the wreckage, the collapsed wing consumed by smoke. A wave of horror washes over me. This is no subtle kidnapping. It's a violent statement. The question is, who stands behind it? Could it be the old loyalists? Another group with a vendetta? Possibly someone wanting to leverage Ivan's knowledge? I push through the building's glass doors, into the crisp outdoors, ignoring the staff who greet me. My mind churns. If they tortured or coerced him, Ivan might spill everything about the old deals. That could implicate me or sabotage my push to legitimize. Or maybe the kidnappers want to blackmail me personally, or this is part of Ivan's plans. I slip into my black SUV, shutting the door with a slam. My driver, Yuri, glances at me in the rear view. Everything all right, sir? I let out a hollow laugh. Number head to the estate, I say, voice tight. We have a crisis. He nods, starting the engine. As we peel away from the curb, I text a quick directive to my top lieutenants. Emergency meeting at my estate in 1 hour. Ivan's safe house was attacked. He's missing. My phone lights up with immediate responses. Shock. Demands for details. I fight the urge to fling it aside. Calm, I remind myself. Panicking won't help. I have to methodically figure out who did this. Old guard loyalists wanting to free their old boss? Possibly. But the brutality of a bomb plus dead staff suggests someone ruthless. Another enemy might want to use Ivan as a bargaining chip. As the SUV navigates city streets, my thoughts drift to the meltdown swirling around me. Stone Hospital's partial meltdown. Nyla's pregnancy, Jacob's seething fury over Marcus's slander. Now, on top of it all, a violent kidnapping in my ranks, chaos from all angles. We accelerate onto the highway, heading toward the estate I seized from Ivan after dethroning him. The windows reflect my tense face, lines of strain etched deep. A single question loops in my mind. Who benefits from abducting Ivan? He's valuable for blackmail, yes, but also a liability if he reveals secrets about our deals or about me personally. This might undermine my leadership even more. Yuri glances back. Boss, we have an urgent call from Olya. Should I patch it through? I nod, rubbing my temples. Yes, do it. The SUV's Bluetooth clicks, and Olya's crisp voice fills the cabin. Alexander, I just saw the pictures from the mansion. Jesus Christ, it's total devastation. No one survived, but Ivan's body isn't there. Any leads? I close my eyes, reining in my frustration. No leads yet. Mikhail's on site, but we have no idea who orchestrated it. The only certainty is that it was professional. Someone had the resources to blow the place sky high, then vanish with Ivan. She curses softly. He was sedated, physically weak. This means they forcibly carried him out or had him walk if they revived him. We suspect ex-Solokhov loyalists. I let out a tight breath. Could be. or a rival group. We can't rule out anyone. Gather the top lieutenants for an emergency meeting. 1 hour at my estate. That includes Sergei, Torvald, Dmitri. Everyone. We need a plan. She agrees, ending the call. The city's skyline gives way to leafy suburbs as we approach the outskirts. My estate looms up ahead, a sprawling mansion in modern style, newly claimed after I took over from Ivan. Usually a place of forced calm, but now it's about to become a war room. We pass the gates, flanked by armed guards. They let us in, saluting. The SUV glides down a long driveway, lined with manicured hedges. My nerves remain taut, heart pounding. If Ivan is in enemy hands, we must act swiftly before they glean too much intel, or demand insane ransoms. I exit the SUV, scanning the estate's courtyard. Men with earpieces watch me, uncertain. My phone pings again, and I see a text from an unknown number. We have him. Ice floods my veins. That means the kidnappers have my direct line. I show it to Yuri, who reads it grimly. No location, no demands, he murmurs. I shake my head. Just a taunt. They want me to know they have Ivan. A swirl of dread pulses. They might be waiting to see my reaction. Or perhaps they'll deliver conditions soon. Within minutes, the rest of my top circle arrives in a string of black cars. Dmitri steps out first, tension in his broad shoulders. Olya's next, eyes sharp and alert. Torvald and Sergei come together, exchanging grave looks. Usually they bicker, but now worry unites them. We gather in the estate's main hall, a grand space with marble floors, a high ceiling, and modern lighting. I lead them into a side conference room, a place I keep for private emergencies. The hush is thick. Each man or woman claims a seat, glancing around with anxious expressions. I stand at the head, raking my gaze over them. Ivan's safe house was bombed. Our people are dead. Ivan's missing, presumably taken hostage. The kidnappers have already texted me to confirm they have him. Shocked murmurs spread. Sergei curses under his breath. Torvald's eyes widen. Dmitri's jaw clenches. Olya sets her phone on the table, fists curling. I raise a hand for silence. I realize many of you had complicated feelings about Ivan. He was dethroned. We kept him sedated. Still, this escalation is catastrophic. If those responsible aim to unseat me or blackmail the organization, we must prepare to respond. Torvald, who opposed me frequently, speaks up, voice trembling with rage. Who the hell bombs a mansion and kidnaps an invalid man? This is a direct declaration of war. I nod. Exactly. They left no survivors among the medical staff or guards. That's not a rescue. It's a calculated strike. They want to sow terror. Perhaps they plan to use Ivan's knowledge of our old dealings as leverage. Dmitri eyes me intently. Alexander, if they get him to talk, we're all at risk. He knows everything. Contacts, old deals, bank routes. Even if we're pivoting legit, the skeletons in the closet remain. One well-placed leak could cripple us. My stomach knots. Hence, we can't let them keep him. The question is who? Old loyalists? Rival networks wanting to shake us down? A hush falls as each contemplates the dire possibilities. Olya breaks the silence. Could it be external enemies we never considered? Like the ones who want to sabotage the Stone Hospital expansions or exploit the meltdown? If they believe Ivan had a stake in it, or they want to hamper your push for legitimacy, this might be part of a bigger scheme. I grimace, recalling how Nyla's fiasco and the Stone meltdown overshadow everything. It could be related to the fiasco swirling around Stone, or it might be purely about us. Either way, they took out an entire guard detail to ensure no survivors. They're not amateurs. Sergei's voice wavers. Should we gather resources? Mount a rescue mission? We don't even know where he is. I nod. We'll investigate. Mikhail's at the site now, collecting forensic evidence. I will have him track down leads, shell casings, residue, any unique signature. Meanwhile, we stay alert for ransom demands or messages. If they want to extort me, I expect contact soon. If it's a competitor seeking intel, they might keep silent. Olya folds her arms, teeth worrying her lip. If they want to forcibly glean secrets from Ivan, he might talk to save himself, or they might coerce him with advanced methods. This is dire, boss. I meet her gaze, letting a quiet panic show. I know, and we have no illusions about Ivan's loyalty. He's cunning. If it suits him to betray us to survive, he might. So we must act fast. Everyone glances my way, awaiting direction. The mantle of leadership weighs heavier than ever. I stand straighter, schooling my features. We'll dispatch teams to check every old contact of Ivan's, see who might be behind this. Also, we plug any info leaks. Nobody outside this circle learns that Ivan is missing. If the press or law enforcement discover the bombing, it's a bigger fiasco. Torvald frowns. Hard to hide an explosion. The police will investigate, find bodies. They might realize it's your property. I grit my teeth. We'll claim it was an abandoned site. Mikhail has instructions to remove any documents linking it to me. Let me handle the cops. The rest of you focus on finding who the kidnappers are. A tense silence. Each lieutenant nods, steeling themselves. I sense the old-school men's fear. They never wanted open warfare. My push for legitimacy might have forced them into a corner. Now some unknown force bombs our place, kidnapping the old boss. The tension is thick enough to choke on. Dmitri adjusts his gun holster. This changes the timeline for going legit, doesn't it? If we're under threat, I cut in. We keep to the plan as best we can. Show no sign of panic. If these kidnappers smell weakness, they'll exploit it further. Understood? They nod. I exhale, rubbing the back of my neck. Chaos from all sides. My phone vibrates again, probably more updates. I silence it for now. All right, I say. Let's end here. Reconvene tomorrow. Keep me informed if any lead surfaces. They file out slowly, each wearing a grim mask. Sergei lingers, giving me a worried look, then leaves as well. The door closes, leaving me alone in the large, echoing conference room. Tension thrums in my skull. Ivan is gone, likely kidnapped. This might be step one in a new war. I slump into a chair, mind racing. If the kidnappers contact me, they might demand a fortune or certain conditions. Alternatively, they might aim to break Ivan for info. Could they tie me to old crimes, ruin the newly minted alliances, or feed info to the DA, linking us to Stone fiascos? A pang of concern hits me for Jacob, for Nyla, for Lori. I must keep her away from all of this. With Nyla pregnant and battered, the last thing we need is an explosion of scandal involving me. But overshadowing that is the immediate threat to my empire, if secrets leak. Do I even want to rescue Ivan? I dethroned him, but letting him rot in the kidnappers' hands could be catastrophic for all of us. I pushed to my feet, crossing to the tall windows. The estate's manicured lawn stretches outside, ringed by high walls. My phone pings again. This time, it's a short text from Mikhail. Found partial footprints leading into the woods. Bomb residue suggests pro-level experts. Next step. I type back. Pull back. Don't go alone. Secure the site. Keep police at bay. I'll coordinate from here. Pocketing the phone, I stare out at the fading evening light. My reflection in the glass shows the lines of stress carved into my face. This day was meant to finalize the transition away from contraband. Instead, we're faced with a violent assault on our old figurehead. Footsteps approach in the hallway. The door creaks open, and Yuri pokes his head in. "Boss, everything okay?" The men left. They're on standby. I wave him in. "No, but we'll manage. Any word from the kidnappers, beyond that single text?" He shakes his head. "Nothing. Could be they're waiting for us to sweat." I grimace. They're certainly succeeding. All right. Keep the security detail tight around the estate. Double the watch. If they can kidnap Ivan, they might attempt more stunts. He nods, stepping back. Understood. Then he pauses, brow furrowing. "You want me to call your friend Jacob? Let him know. This bombing might be relevant. The stone meltdown is tangentially linked. Or do we keep it quiet?" My instinct screams to keep it hush. No, not yet. I have to handle this internally first. If we go public or involve Jacob, it might draw unwanted attention. Yuri dips his head and leaves. I turn back to the window, heart pounding. Hiding this from Jacob might be wise or might blow up if rumors spread. But right now, I can't afford a meltdown. I recall Jacob's desperation to protect Nyla in prison. If he knew there's another crisis brewing, he might panic. One catastrophe at a time. My phone pings again. Mikhail with more pictures. Smashed cinder blocks, twisted rebar, scorched soil. The corpses are blurred out. The carnage is savage. A wave of revulsion hits me. I press my eyes shut, forcing the images away. Who the hell bombs an entire site just to snatch Ivan? Suddenly, an ominous possibility emerges. What if Ivan orchestrated this as a twisted escape? A long shot, but I can't rule it out. He might have allies. Or it's a hostile group wanting him for their own gains. The phone photo reveals the caretaker nurse's bullet-riddled body. No mere accidental explosion. They came for him specifically. Darkness creeps across the estate grounds as dusk settles. The overhead lights in the conference room flicker on automatically, casting a stark glow. My reflection stares back from the window, tension in every line. Ivan was abducted. We don't know by whom or for what. This is bigger than a typical power grab. I rub my temples, a headache throbbing. The day has gone from precarious to a living nightmare. But I won't fold. I dethroned Ivan once. I can't let some shadowy adversary dethrone me now, or unravel the budding alliances I've formed. Gathering my composure, I stride out of the conference room into the estate's hallway, passing portrait-lined walls I once despised. I head upstairs to my private office. Once inside, I lock the door, pulling out a secure laptop. I flick through encrypted channels, contacting a few discreet intelligence sources who owe me favors. Each message is short and urgent. Ivan abducted. Mansion bombed. No survivors. Need all info on potential conspirators or sightings. I send them out, my hands shaking slightly. Time is short. If we're going to salvage this, we need leads fast. After finalizing the messages, I slump into the leather chair. My thoughts swirl, drifting to Jacob's meltdown earlier, with Marcus's interview, to Nyla's pregnancy, to my own battered empire. A sense of dread coils in my gut. We're all enveloped in storms from every side. I replay the day's events, the old-school men's grudging acceptance of my plan to go legit. Then this bombshell about Ivan's kidnapping. If that faction trying to sabotage me is bigger than I suspect, we're in for a protracted war. The risk is unimaginable. For me, for the hospital expansions, for the fragile alliances, and for Nyla, if the conspirators connect her or Marcus to us. The phone on my desk rings, jarring me from my spiral. An unknown number. My pulse spikes. Kidnappers? I steel myself, flipping it to speaker. Hello? Silence for a beat. Then a distorted voice crackles. Alexander. We have him. My throat constricts. Where? I demand, forcing my voice level. A faint chuckle. He's alive for now. We'll be in touch with instructions soon. Don't bother searching, or you'll regret it. The line clicks, dead. Adrenaline surges, my hands trembling. They called me directly. They want me to sweat. No mention of money or demands. Just a threat. Another savage statement. I slam the phone down, cursing under my breath. So it's definitely a hostage situation. They plan to contact me again, presumably with demands. Perhaps they want me to revert to old deals, to supply them with arms, or pay a massive ransom. Or maybe they aim to sabotage my push for legitimacy. My gut says this is about more than money. If they took the trouble to bomb the mansion, kill staff, then vanish, they're making a grand statement. A wave of claustrophobia chokes me. If Ivan reveals too much, we lose everything. But do I even want to rescue him, or is that a trap? My mind spins in a loop, uncertain. Despite dethroning him, letting him die or be used by enemies might spark bigger turmoil. A knock at my office door. I bark. Who is it? Dmitri steps in, face pale. Boss, I heard from our watchers on the local news. The police are investigating the explosion site. Body counts rising. The press might pick up the story soon. We can't hide it. We have to be ready for inquiries about the mansion's ownership. I inhale slowly, forcing myself to respond calmly. I'll handle it. Let them think it was an old property affiliated with Ivan alone. Keep the message consistent. He was convalescing there. We had no knowledge of any criminal activity. We disclaim any direct link. Dmitri nods anxiously. Of course. Just wanted you to know. Also, some men are on the edge, worried about another bomb or kidnapping. Morale is shaky. I rub my temples. Reassure them we have the situation under control. Double security around all safe houses. No one moves without clearance. He salutes, leaving me alone again. The clock on my desk shows past 8 p.m. Full night approaches. Tired as I am, I know I won't sleep. I open a hidden drawer, pulling out a half-finished whiskey bottle. I pour a measure, swallowing the burn to steady my nerves. Ivan is gone, stolen by an unknown group that might blackmail me or ruin me. The police sniff around. My men are anxious. I swirl the whiskey, lost in thought. If we can figure out who did this, we might act quickly, rescue or neutralize Ivan. But if they contact me with demands, do I comply or call their bluff? Either path is loaded with risk. My phone buzzes again. Mikhail's name. I slump, answering, "Yeah?" He speaks softly. "We just found partial tire tracks on a side road near the property. Looks like a van, maybe blacked out windows. The bomb was high grade, definitely not a random homemade job. This is pro." I swirl the whiskey in my glass, the tension intensifying. "Understood. Keep searching. Document everything. The kidnappers called me. Said they'll reach out with instructions soon." A pause. "Then we wait? We do nothing until they contact us?" "Keep investigating. Quietly. I refuse to be a passive hostage to their timeline. But be discreet. One misstep, they might kill or torture him for fun." Mikhail hesitates, then agrees. We hang up. I stare into my whiskey, heart pounding. Wait, me? Passive? Never. But caution might be the only way.
This is it, baby. This is what you can get me that'll make me happy.
You know I'll get you whatever you want. All you need to do is ask me and I'll give it to you.
This ain't just it. This is everything I could ever want.
Now I'm curious. What does a strong, sassy woman like yourself want so badly?
Baby, you know what I want?
I can't wait to hear.
The Big Baddie Bundle from Nyla Walker. It has everything I need.
20 ebooks with over 1 million words of sassy romance and spice that'll keep you on your toes.
10 audiobooks containing over 60 hours of that seductive voice telling me naughty things all night long.
You don't need an audiobook for that, baby. Right here.
You may be fine and all, but no one tells it like the way Miss Nyla does. And I need her in my life.
The Big Baddie Bundle is everything you need. You can get it for 80% off.
Go to TylaWalker.com to browse the bundles that earn you the best deals.
It's time you treat yourself. Because you deserve it.
Escape your life with Miss Nyla. Chapter 321. Nyla. I wake up to the screech of metal against metal, followed by the roar of a guard yelling for everyone to rise and shine. For one precious second, I pretend I'm back in Jacob's arms, like the morning sun is trickling through our bedroom curtains. And the worst thing we have to do is decide whose turn it is to make coffee. But that illusion shatters the moment my eyes snap open, taking in the cramped space of Cell 16 in Stonebridge Correctional Facility. It's been 2 weeks since they yanked me from the maternity wing, a brief stay the warden authorized when a prison medic confirmed I was pregnant. The official reason for returning me to general population is overcrowding, but more cynically, I suspect they want me out of any special category that could shield me from violence. In truth, I never wanted to broadcast my pregnancy anyway. Jacob and I agreed to keep it hidden from the courts, from Marcus, from everyone who might exploit it. But in here, secrets rarely stay secret. A handful of staff knows, some inmates suspect, and I live in constant fear that the outside world will find out next. Rise and shine, the guard repeats, his baton raking the bars with a metallic clang. The racket sets my nerves on edge, even more than usual. Across the cell, Jo, my cellmate, stands near the door, posture taut, as if she's been awake for hours. Tension radiates from her slight frame. I sit up carefully, ignoring the dull ache in my ribs. My hand drifts to my abdomen, the same protective reflex I've been fighting since I found out about the baby. Everything about prison life threatens me. The stress, the random fights, the rumors. But I can't let my child be a pawn for the media or my enemies. Not while I'm on trial for murder. Jo gives me a quick once-over. You look like hell, princess. Bad dreams again? I manage a shaky nod, pushing away the fragment of a dream where Jacob cradled my belly and promised everything would be fine. Same old nightmares. She glances pointedly at my stomach but says nothing. Jo's aware I was temporarily in the maternity wing. Staff gossip travels fast, Still, neither of us wants to talk about it openly. It's too dangerous. I force a breath and rise on unsteady feet. My bruises from that laundry room assault 2 weeks ago have mostly faded to a sickly yellow, but my side throbs when I move. Any new rumors? Plenty, Jo mutters, crossing her arms. We got told you had a hush-hush conjugal visit last week unregistered. So the others suspect you're bribing guards left and right. You know how that goes. They smell money, they get jealous. A flush burns my cheeks. Jacob had risked everything to see me for a stolen hour. We'd bribed a guard, hoping it stayed under the radar. Obviously it didn't. It wasn't exactly glorious, I say quietly. We needed time to strategize about the trial, but rumor mills here don't care. Joe's gaze flicks to my midsection, then back up. No doubt. People hate feeling like you get special treatment when the rest of us are rotting. They figure stone money buys you freedom. Or they assume you're more dangerous than you look. Either way, you're a target. My stomach twists. They think I want this? I'd give anything to leave here through the front gates, a free woman, and with my baby safe. I never asked for special anything, but if I don't see Jacob, how can we fight the false charges? She shrugs. Doesn't matter if you asked or not. Inmates see you as the stone nurse, the fiancé of that big hospital scion, the one who supposedly murdered his parents. They roll their eyes at your attempts to keep secrets. Meanwhile, some see you as a threat. Others want to see if you bleed money. She does air quotes and snorts. So watch your back. I'm telling you. I swallow. Thanks, I whisper, my hand drifting protectively across my abdomen again. My every instinct says to hide this pregnancy from the entire world, but it's tricky when I'm stuck in close quarters with prying eyes. A distant clang echoes, and the overhead lights blaze to life, harsh and unflattering. No privacy, no mercy. The guard's voice booms along the corridor. Block 2, line up for chow. Let's move, ladies. The mechanical clunk of locks resounds. We exchange looks. Joe gestures for me to follow. Let's go get breakfast. Another day in paradise. There's a bitter twist to her mouth. Another day in paradise. I muster the will to keep my head high as I step out of the cell. We shuffle with the rest of the inmates toward the cafeteria. The stale odor of disinfectant thick in the air. A few women glare openly. Some whisper behind their hands, but I stare straight ahead, resisting the urge to cradle my belly again. I can't show them any vulnerability. In the cafeteria, the routine is the same. Watery oatmeal, a slice of limp bread, plastic trays, and a swirl of resentful energy. I force a few bites, each mouthful turning my stomach. Stress and pregnancy are not a friendly combo, and I'm terrified of letting my appetite slip. The baby needs nutrients. Joe and I settle at a table near the edge. Immediately, I sense the hostility from a group of older inmates at a central table. Murmurs about the stone princess. Money can't save her now. My throat constricts, but I remember Joe's advice. Don't let them see you're rattled. So I keep my gaze on my tray. A guard strides into the cafeteria, scanning the row of inmates. His eyes land on me and my heart leaps. Fear or hope, I'm not sure. He lifts a finger. Thomas, you have a visitor in the attorney room. My pulse spikes. Possibly Jacob again? Could it be Margaret, my lawyer, with news? Either way, I welcome a reprieve from the cafeteria's hostility. Coming, I say, standing quickly. Behind me, a sneering voice. Lucky you, having fancy visits. Wish I had a fiancé with deep pockets. I pretend not to hear. Joe shoots me a quiet, be careful look as I leave. The corridor feels longer than usual, each footstep echoing my anxiety. If it's Jacob, God, let him be safe. He's trying so hard to keep my pregnancy under wraps, but we can't hide it forever. A few staff members suspect, and the rumor creeps outside these walls. If our enemies find out, they'll leverage it to break me. We reach a small interrogation-like chamber with a tempered glass partition. The guard gestures me inside. Through the glass, Margaret Ross sits, a stack of files in front of her. No Jacob. My chest falls a bit, but I force composure. At least I might get legal updates. I pick up the phone on my side. She does the same. The guard stands in the corner, arms folded. "Morning, Ms. Thomas," Margaret greets, voice subdued through the thick glass. "How are you holding up?" I set the receiver against my ear, ignoring the tension in my shoulder. "Could be better," I say, failing to hide the exhaustion. "Any developments in my case?" She nods, flipping through her notes. "We're still gathering evidence, but I came in person because we have real news. The judge just fast-tracked your pretrial hearing for next week." My stomach plunges. Next week? The word rattles in my skull. We're not even close to proving who forged the funeral wreath receipt or the toll booth footage. We aren't ready. Margaret exhales sharply. I filed motions to delay, but the prosecution convinced the judge you're a flight risk or that your fiancé can tamper with evidence. They're playing the Stone name card, claiming you have resources. The judge bought it. Bitterness surges, tasting like bile. They want me behind bars and silenced. They know we can blow their case open if we get enough time. I press a hand to my abdomen out of reflex. The guard behind me shifts, so I force it away, not wanting to draw attention. Margaret's eyes flick downward for a second, as if noticing the gesture. She lowers her voice. "They don't know about your pregnancy, correct? Outside these walls, I mean. The prosecution hasn't gotten wind?" I shake my head. "Not officially. Some staff here do, and some prisoners, but we never talked about it, but it's hush-hush. If the public found out, Marcus or the media might twist it. Jacob's trying to keep it locked down." She nods grimly, but rumors slip. "Actually, there's chatter in certain circles that you might be pregnant. I've heard faint whispers. So, Jacob can't keep it hidden forever. When it starts to show, the press will jump on it." My throat tightens. "Let them talk. I don't want to feed the rumor. I won't use my baby as some sympathy ploy in court." Just saying the word baby out loud sends a surge of protective instinct through me. Her gaze softens. "I understand, but legally, a pregnancy can influence how a jury sees you. They might question if a pregnant woman would commit murder, or they might assume you're using it for leniency. If we introduced it as evidence of stress or something, no," I say firmly, voice shaking. I refuse to wave around my unborn child like a defense tactic. I'm innocent, and I want to prove it on the facts, not manipulate sympathy. Margaret regards me for a moment, then nods. "All right. We'll keep it under wraps unless it becomes absolutely necessary. But be prepared. If the prosecution catches wind, they'll spin it, possibly claiming you wanted your fiancé's inheritance to raise a baby in luxury, or something equally twisted." My stomach churns with nausea. "They'll do anything to demonize me," I murmur. "But let them try. I'd rather stand on truth than drag my child into this madness." She flips a page. Moving on, they also scheduled a full medical evaluation prior to the hearing. Physical and psychological. Probably tomorrow or the next day. Officially, it's to confirm you're fit for trial. Unofficially, it's another chance to corner me. I finish grimly, recalling the last beating I nearly suffered at the hands of crooked guards. They used that excuse before. She sets her jaw. "I'll try to ensure the warden arranges a legitimate doctor, but I can't be certain. Keep your guard up, Ms. Thomas." I swallow hard. "I will." Guilt gnaws at me for the baby's sake. If anything happens, I can't protect both of us. What about Jacob's progress? Did he confirm the toll booth footage is doctored? We're close, but not definitive. He's got private tech specialists analyzing the file. We need a verified chain of custody to present in court. She closes her folder. We have a short window, but we'll do our best. Meanwhile, your fiancé says he's pushing Trixie to come forward with certain documents. That might help. At Trixie's name, my heart lurches with uncertainty. Could she really betray Marcus enough to exonerate me? I guess we have no choice but to trust her, huh? Margaret sighs. Yes, or find another angle, but time's nearly up. The guard raps the door with his baton. Rap it, Ross. He barks. She purses her lips. I'll be back soon. And Miss Thomas. Her eyes flick to my belly again. Remember to take care of yourself. No matter what, your health and the baby's come first. My chest tightens with mingled fear and determination. Thank you, I whisper. Then I add, voice quieter, please tell Jacob I'm staying strong. She nods. I will. With that, she gathers her things and exits. The door slams, leaving me trembling. Next week. We aren't ready. The baby is an unspoken wild card. My enemies might exploit it if they find out. Back in the corridor, the guard escorts me in chilly silence. My thoughts swirl. The pregnancy rumor creeping outside, the prosecution's bullet train schedule, the sabotage evidence still unverified. If we fail to prove my innocence, I might give birth in a cell. We reach cell 16. He unlocks the door, gestures me in with a curt nod. The metal clang behind me resonates with finality. Jo looks up from the bottom bunk, a dog-eared paperback in her hands. Meeting with your lawyer? She asks, voice low. I slump onto the bunk, massaging the tension at my temples. Trial's next week. They want a medical exam, and rumor says my pregnancy is leaking outside. People suspect already. My voice breaks on the last word. Jo's eyes narrow. She sets the paperback aside. So the outside bigwigs might sniff it out, huh? That's tricky. I force a brittle laugh. Tricky doesn't begin to cover it. Then I explain haltingly. My lawyer suggested using it in court for sympathy, or to demonstrate I wouldn't risk my child if I were truly a murderer. I refused. Jo snorts. Can't blame you. If folks in here found out for sure, they might twist it or use it to manipulate you. But from what I see, it's already tough to hide. She glances meaningfully at my slightly looser prison jumpsuit. Bumps show eventually. I place a protective hand on my abdomen. I know, I whisper. But I won't let them twist my baby into a bargaining chip. Jo's gaze shifts away, something like grudging respect crossing her features. You've got guts. We pass the next hours in anxious silence. The yard time is a blur of me pacing near the fence, ignoring stares. Dinner is watery soup that I barely manage. My mind is too full of next week's trial, the forced medical exam, and the swirl of rumors about my pregnancy. As lights dim for the night, I climb to the top bunk, arms folded over my belly in a half-fetal position. I try to sleep, but my imagination conjures every worst-case scenario. The media discovers the pregnancy, the prosecution twists it as a motive for murder, or the prison guards orchestrate another midnight exam. Shudders rack me. Stay calm. Stay calm. A loud clang breaks the darkness, making me jolt upright. My heart leaps in my throat. Overhead lights snap on, searing my eyes. Thomas, up! A guard yells. Final count. Jo swears softly from below. We just had count an hour ago. Rapping his baton on the bars, the guard repeats, Don't question me, inmate. Let's go. We rise, stepping near the bars as the door slides open. 2 more guards wait in the corridor, stiff posture, eyes cold. They do a cursory pass of the neighboring cells, then turn back to me. Change of plan, the first guard announces. Orders from the warden. Thomas is to come with us for a pretrial medical screening. My stomach twists with dread. Now, I say, voice trembling. It's practically midnight. His sneer is pure contempt. Doc is free now. Move it. Joe leaps off the bunk, fists clenched. You can't just... She's pregnant, for God's sake. You... Shut it, snaps a second guard, stepping menacingly close to Joe. My cellmate draws back, face tight with rage, but powerless to fight 3 armed guards. I try to keep my breathing even, remembering the last time they pulled me out for an exam. I nearly lost the baby in that beating. The memory makes me dizzy with panic. I swallow, voice quivering. Could I see a written order from the warden? One guard smirks. You stone types sure love your paperwork. Sorry, no. Walk or we drag you. My glance flicks to Joe, who looks ready to protest. I give her a slight head shake, pleading with my eyes. If she resists, they'll pummel her too. She huffs, stepping back. Nyla, watch yourself. I will, I murmur, forging my chin high, but my heart's racing like crazy. Lead the way. Margaret said the official medical exam wasn't until tomorrow or the day after. There's no chance they'd do it in the middle of the night. They herd me down the corridor, overhead lights flickering ominously. My heart pounds. If this is another trap, I have no illusions about how it'll end. My protective instincts flare. I clench every muscle, prepared to fight if they go for my stomach again. I push down the gnawing terror, channeling it into determination. I won't let them kill my baby. We pass staff offices, each door locked. A caged metal door at the end of a side hall squeals open, revealing a third guard waiting, arms crossed. My blood runs cold. They're repeating the same routine. They gesture me down a flight of narrow concrete steps. The air grows dank, an overhead bulb flickers. The temperature dips. I shuffle carefully, every nerve screaming that I'm walking into an ambush. At the bottom, a heavy metal door. One guard knocks. A muffled voice inside says, "Bring her in." My pulse skitters. The door swings wide, exposing a wide, dimly lit space with a single overhead light. No medical equipment, no benches. They shove me in. The door slams behind us. A tall figure in a guard uniform stands in the center, a cruel smile twisting his features. My stomach clenches in recognition. The same lead guard who attacked me last time. He steps forward, arms folded. "So, stone fiancé, rumor says you're pregnant. That's adorable. I guess a baby didn't stop you from murdering people, though." My voice trembles. "I never murdered anyone. You can't do this. I have rights." He sneers. "Rights? If someone pays us enough, you get whatever treatment they want. A good beating ensures you won't get all feisty at trial. Or maybe we'll induce an accident." His gaze rakes my midsection. "Heard you were keeping that baby hush-hush. Bet it'd shame you if something happened. Or if the press found out." Rage and terror swirl. My shoulders tremble. "You're monsters." I rasp, refusing to let tears fall. One guard steps behind me, seizing my arms. Another brandishes a baton, pointing it at my belly. My entire being screams to protect my unborn child. I struggle, elbowing backward, connecting with a grunt, but a baton slams across my shoulder, pain spiking. I bite back a cry, twisting sideways to keep them from my abdomen. "Get off me!" My breath comes in ragged gasps. Adrenaline flares. I land a wild kick on the second guard's leg. He howls, but the lead guard roars, "Subdue her!" A baton smashes into my ribs, knocking the wind from me. I choke on air, tears burning. The lead guard grips my hair, yanking me so I face him, agony exploding near my scalp. "Pregnant or not, you talk too much," he growls, drawing back his fist. Just then, pounding on the door from outside. A muffled voice shouts, "Open up." Warden's orders. Now. The guards freeze, exchanging panicked looks. Finish her, the lead guard hisses, but the door rattles louder. Another authoritative voice outside. Do it, now. They can't risk an open confrontation with the higher-up. One guard curses, storms to the door, fumbling with locks. The second guard tries to land a final blow, but it's half-hearted, glancing off my shoulder. I gasp, falling to my knees. My entire body throbs, but my arms shield my belly as best I can. Keep the baby safe. Keep the baby safe. The door bursts open, bright light flooding in. Multiple footsteps thunder inside. Another guard, presumably outranked by the newcomers, barks in alarm. The baton-wielding scum tries to drop his weapon, stepping away. Too late. Someone tackles him. The lead guard attempts to fade into the corner, but an officer seizes him. Shouts fill the air. What the hell is going on? Where's the real doc? We had an official exam order, not this. I collapse forward, tears streaking my cheeks, gasping for breath. A wave of dizziness blackens my vision's edges. Through the haze, I see a female officer rush over, kneel by my side. Nyla, are you hurt badly? Her voice is urgent, her face pale with outrage. Medic, get in here. She sees my trembling hand pressed protectively over my lower torso, eyes widening with realization. My God, they were going to... She doesn't finish the sentence, but the horror in her eyes says it all. More shouting ensues. Radios crackle with frantic calls for paramedics. The scumbag guards are forcibly escorted out, cursing at me. One raves about how I ruined everything. Another tries to blame me for attacking them first. No one buys it. My ribs scream with each breath, but I cling to consciousness, to the faint hope that my baby is still okay. The female officer grips my shoulder gently, scanning my injuries. We'll get you to the real infirmary, I promise. Those bastards are done. A paramedic arrives, kneeling with a stethoscope. I gasp as he checks me. My tears mix with sweat on the cold concrete. Hurry, I manage. Need to check baby. His face is grim but professional. We'll do an ultrasound upstairs. Stay with me. I let them haul me upright, arms around my midsection. Another wave of agony hits, but I grit my teeth, blinking back unconsciousness. They half carry me from the dank basement. The corridor beyond is crowded with more officers, some shouting about security violations. All I register is the painful throb in my body and a desperate prayer that my unborn child remains unharmed. As the paramedic wheels me onto a stretcher, the overhead lights glare in my eyes, and pain lances every nerve. My mind reels with a single thought. I have to survive this. My baby's counting on me. Next week's trial is looming. The outside rumors swirl about my pregnancy, and Marcus or the prosecution could twist that knowledge any way they want. But for now, all that matters is that I'm still breathing, still fighting, for my innocence, and for my unborn child's future. I close my eyes, letting the medical staff rush me to the infirmary. Darkness creeps at the edges of my vision, but I whisper silently, Jacob, hold on. We'll make it. I won't let them destroy us.
You think you can catch me? You think you can tame me?
Oh, I know I can. And you know it too, baby.
I gotta tell you, you're not the first to try.
But don't worry, baby. I'll be the last.
With sass like that, maybe I'll be the one that needs to tame you.
Let's cut to the chase, big boy. What you selling me?
Your appetite is big AF. I have just the thing that'll satisfy you.
Oh, really? And what's that?
Over 120 hours of romance audiobooks. Brought to you by Tyler Walker Romances in the Big AF Audio Bundle.
120 hours? That sounds amazing.
Your knees won't work afterwards if I do my job right.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Well, I can keep this promise. because these audiobooks are unabridged with all the spicy scenes that will make you put your earbuds on. You know, Tyla can get freaky because she marked the bundle down by 69% for a limited time.
I can't wait to take this bundle for a ride.
Visit TylaWalker.com and get this audio bundle. Just don't start listening if you're going to be cooking dinner, because you might just forget to feed your family.
TylaWalker.com. Escape your life with Tyla.
Chapter 322. Alexander. I slam the car door shut, ignoring the polite salute from my estate guards as I stride through the wrought iron gate. The sky's begun to darken, and storm clouds gather on the horizon, a fitting backdrop for the chaos roiling in my mind. A crisp wind rustles the hedges, carrying the scent of ozone. My thoughts spin with images of twisted metal and scorched rubble, the aftermath of the safe house bombing and Ivan's disappearance. Ivan, the dethroned figurehead I once considered my most dangerous enemy, also my uncle, has been kidnapped. By whom, I still don't know, but it's an undeniable fact that a bomb leveled his convalescent mansion, and no one survived save him, whisked away by unknown abductors. The rest of my men found only bodies and ruin. My phone vibrates in my jacket pocket. No doubt another urgent text from my enforcers. I ignore it for now. Pushing through the grand front doors of the estate. The corridor is quiet, polished marble reflecting the overhead chandelier's glow. Too quiet, after the carnage I witnessed in pictures just hours ago. The hush almost mocks me with its normalcy. A guard posted by the foyer steps forward. "Boss, Dimitri's in the sitting room. He said you wanted him to gather the new intel?" I nod, forcing my voice steady. "Yes. Tell him I'll be right there." I don't break stride. Storm clouds outside swallow the last traces of dusk. In my chest, tension coils tighter. The old loyalists might see Ivan's abduction as reason to stage a revolt, or to blame me for failing to protect him. Rival factions could interpret it as a sign of weakness. Meanwhile, the press will soon connect the battered property with the Solikov name, drawing more attention we don't need, especially with Nyla's trial on the horizon and Jacob stepping aside from Stone Hospital. I round the corner into the sitting room, a space decked in tasteful gold and cream, with plush sofas flanking a marble fireplace. Dimitri stands near the mantel, phone in hand, brow creased in deep worry. He glances up the moment I enter, offering a tense nod. "Alexander." He pockets the phone. "There's more from Mikhail. No immediate ransom demands. No second message from the kidnappers after that cryptic text. The police, however." He rubs his temples. "They've identified the caretaker nurse's body. The detective in charge is already poking around about who owns the property." I exhale sharply, crossing to the sofa, but not sitting. As expected. We claim it was an old house under Ivan's name alone. Yes? Correct. We'll disclaim any knowledge of what happened there. But some of the older neighbors mention they saw black SUVs, men patrolling with guns. It's only a matter of time before that hits the news. Dimitri's voice is grim. Let it. We'll act naive. We parted ways with Ivan months ago. We didn't follow his personal convalescence arrangement. Some nonsense along those lines. I feel my jaw clench. Meanwhile, we keep quiet about his kidnapping. We don't want every enemy or half-baked vigilante racing for a piece of the action. Dimitri nods. Understood. But what about the men internally who suspect we're lying? The old loyalists are anxious. They demanded an emergency council meeting. They want to see if you plan a rescue mission, or if we just let Ivan rot. I grit my teeth, recalling how I dethroned Ivan to steer this organization toward legitimacy. Letting him rot might solve one problem. No chance he returns to challenge my seat. But if the kidnappers torture out his knowledge of our affairs, we all face ruin. I'll speak to them. We can't risk a reckless operation. We first identify who took him. Dmitri exhales, relief flickering in his eyes. I'll gather them tomorrow morning. I rake a hand through my hair. Yes, dawn if necessary. Meanwhile, keep investigating. We have to find any lead. Rival families, ex-Solikov factions, foreign groups. Someone had resources to bomb that site. My mind flits to the possibility that Ivan orchestrated his own kidnapping as an elaborate escape, but I don't voice it yet. Dmitri's loyalty is unwavering, but the fewer who suspect, the better. He taps his phone. We'll do everything we can. A short pause, then a worried glimmer. Boss, I'm sorry. This is messy. Messy is an understatement. I know, I say quietly. Thank you. Keep me posted. Dmitri hovers, eyes searching my face. You sure you don't want me to call Mr. Stone or coordinate with him? Stone Hospital meltdown might connect somehow, or maybe he has resources to trace these kidnappers. My shoulders tighten. Not now. Jacob has enough on his plate. His fiancé's trial is next week, for God's sake, and we have our own plan to help protect Nyla behind the scenes. I pause, letting that slip as a reminder. But I'm not mixing him into our abduction fiasco. It could draw undue attention from the DA. Dmitri nods, stepping back. I understand. Let me know if that changes. He leaves the room quietly. I remain standing by the fireplace, gaze flicking across the mantel's antique clock. The minute hand edges forward, each tick amplified by the hush. My mind roils with half-formed strategies to rescue or neutralize Ivan. At the same time, I recall my parallel vow to Jacob, that we'd shield Nyla from any new threats in prison, especially if her father Marcus or some other manipulator tries to exploit her pregnancy. We formed that plan discreetly, hammered out key details, but I can't juggle all these crises alone. My phone buzzes with a new message from Jacob. Meeting with investigators. Minimal progress on the forged footage. Are you stable on your end? A humorless laugh bubbles. Stable. Right. I type a vague reply. Situation complicated, but I have your back, Nyla. Let's finalize the next steps soon. Then I set the phone aside, tension throbbing in my temples. We decided not to reveal the pregnancy angle to any of my men except Dmitri, and not to mention it in any phone or text that might be intercepted. If the world discovered Nyla is pregnant, it might paint a giant bullseye on her. And that's the last thing we need. Abruptly, I recall a conversation from last week. Jacob's voice hushed, eyes fierce, telling me, just keep the lines open. If we find out someone inside that prison is targeting her, we'll rely on your resources. That was part of the hush-hush plan, to plant watchers near the facility or bribe a warden contact. I've set some cogs in motion, but now the kidnapping fiasco demands my time. Still, I mustn't neglect Nyla's safety. She's pregnant, for God's sake, rotting in a cell with potential violence lurking. Lori will be heartbroken if something happens to her. I clench a fist, one crisis at a time, or everything falls. Making up my mind, I stride from the sitting room to a smaller study off the main hall. My personal sanctum, lined with dark wooden shelves and an old globe. I lock the door behind me. Then I pick up a secure phone from the drawer, not my usual smartphone. This line is dedicated to covert calls about the prison infiltration or hush money for the warden. Hesitation tightens my chest. After the bomb fiasco, every resource I have is scattered. But if I fail to continue supporting Nyla's hidden watchers inside Stonebridge Correctional, she could be in lethal danger. She's scheduled for a forced medical exam any day now. That's an ideal moment for her enemies to strike. I dial a number from memory. The phone rings thrice before a clipped female voice answers. Yes? I speak low. It's Alexander. Everything stands. Keep the protective detail in place for the woman. You'll get your next payment soon. A brief pause. Understood. The guards cornered her, but we took care of that. But rumors swirl. We keep watch. We're going to tighten security. My shoulders ease slightly. At least that piece is stable. Good. If anything shifts, notify me immediately. I end the call. That's the best I can do right now. Jacob's plan and mine to protect Nyla from unscrupulous guards or foes remains intact, even in the midst of my own meltdown. But a pang of guilt hits. Lori crosses my mind. She's texted me multiple times, calling to share her daily hospital worries or just to hear my voice. I've been ignoring her calls, convinced it's safer if she's not entangled in a potential mafia war. Each time I reject her call, my chest aches. But with bombs going off and kidnappings, I'd rather keep her far from the crossfire. If she pressed for details, I couldn't lie. So, I push her away, though it hurts. Phone in hand, I stare at her unread messages. The last one is simple. I'm worried about you. Please talk to me. My throat tightens. She deserves better than silence, but I can't risk dragging her into this. Heart heavy, I set the phone down. Later, I tell myself, ignoring the pang in my gut. Right now, the kidnappers hold all the cards, and I must figure out who they are, or wait until they make demands. Meanwhile, the old loyalists demand some kind of vengeance or rescue for Ivan. Seated at my desk, I open a laptop and type out instructions for an intelligence search. I list possible suspects, ex-Solikov loyalists, foreign arms dealers, personal vendettas. Every line feels more desperate than the last. If these unknown captors plan to ransom Ivan for wealth, that might be straightforward. If they want to destroy us by gleaning secrets from him, that's worse. A knock sounds on the study door. I call, "Yes?" The door opens a crack, and Olya's voice floats in. "Alexander, sorry to disturb, but some men are getting anxious about the next steps. They want to see you." I rub my eyes. Fine. I will address them. She hesitates. "We're all on edge, but we trust your leadership. Just try to calm them. They're ready to do something drastic." I sigh, nodding. "I will." She steps away, leaving me alone. I gather a breath, steel my expression, and exit the study to find a small crowd forming near the front corridor. Torvald, Sergei, a couple of old-timers, plus younger enforcers. Their faces flick with apprehension. Torvald speaks first, voice urgent. "Alexander, no ransom yet. Are we going in circles? Maybe we should track them down before they vanish." I raise a hand. "We're working leads quietly. If we charge in blindly, we risk them killing even. That won't help us. Let them reach out with demands or slip up. Meanwhile, we search but keep it discreet. Sergei clenches his jaw. This kind of violence demands a show of force. We can't appear weak. I sweep my gaze over them. We will respond, but not impulsively. I won't risk more men dying. We'll methodically uncover who did this. A hush. Some nod grudgingly. One old man rubs his temple, muttering about the family's code. I soften my tone. I understand your anger. We lost good people, but if we escalate a war without facts, we might play into the kidnappers' hands. Give me time to get leads. Then we strike or negotiate from a position of strength. Torvald scowls but doesn't argue. Sergei steps back, arms folded. The group disperses slowly, tension still thrumming in the air. As they go, Olya meets my eyes from across the hall, offering a faint, approving nod. I sense her relief that I didn't promise immediate retaliation. We can't be rash, even so. The clock is ticking. Hours later, night has fully fallen, the estate bathed in security floodlights. I pace my private office, rereading an old briefing on Ivan's previous alliances. So many potential culprits. My phone remains silent. No new messages from the kidnappers. Are they waiting for me to sweat? Are they torturing him already? A knock. I call, "Come in!" Dmitri enters again, eyes bloodshot. "Boss, we got a single snippet of CCTV from a traffic cam near the bombed mansion. Shows a black van leaving the property around the time of the explosion. Could be them." He holds out a tablet. A grainy image, 2:47 a.m. stamp. A black van with tinted windows speeding down a rural road. No plate visible. We watch it vanish in the footage. I grit my teeth. Not much to go on. But we can check if a similar van appears on any highway cameras. Mikhail's men can chase that lead. Dmitri nods. I'll forward it. Also, no movement at the bomb site. The cops are combing it. We're about to run out of plausible deniability if they find proof it was tied to us, or that we had it set up as a medical safe house. Then we pray they find nothing, I say grimly. Get some rest, Dmitri. We can't do more tonight. He hesitates, then heads out. Once again, I'm alone with my swirling thoughts. Around midnight, I slump in the armchair, a half-empty glass of whiskey on the side table. My mind returns to the vow I made with Jacob. We promised to keep Nyla safe from further ambushes, especially after that beating in the laundry room. If these kidnappers or some other foe tries to manipulate her trial, we have watchers in place. But I'm letting my empire slip if I can't rescue Ivan, or at least muzzle him. Everything is dangerously interconnected. My phone pings. Startled, I grab it, hoping it's the kidnappers. Instead, it's from a private number. Jacob again. A short text, heard about some incident near your old property. You okay? So, the rumors begun, swirling outside. I swallow, replying, all under control, focus on Nyla's case. We'll proceed as planned for her protection. He responds within moments. Roger. We gotta finalize the infiltration side soon. The forced exam is imminent. I close my eyes, stifling a groan. Yes, the forced exam. If someone inside the prison sees an opportunity to harm or expose Nyla's pregnancy, it could be disastrous. We do have a hush arrangement with a couple of staff members who keep an eye on her. But the meltdown from the bomb might limit my direct oversight. Still, I type, Sticking to schedule. My watchers are in place. Hang in there. I set the phone aside, the pang of guilt returning. I'm dividing my attention between rescuing or containing Ivan, going legit, fending off a potential revolt, and upholding my vow to help Jacob's fiancée. It's a precarious balancing act, but I have no choice. Time drags as I nurse the whiskey. Eventually, I stand and pace to the broad windows overlooking the moonlit gardens. The reflection of my tired face meets me in the glass. I recall how, months ago, I was content just being a privileged lieutenant under the old regime, partying away. Then I stepped up, dethroning Ivan, forging new paths, and now the bullet storms come from all sides. A swirl of resentment flashes. Maybe I should let Ivan's kidnappers keep him. But no, that's too risky. He's a loaded gun of knowledge, pointing at all of us. If they break him, they break me. Somewhere out there, Ivan awaits an unknown fate, possibly tortured or coerced. Meanwhile, I watch the roiling shadows in my garden, feeling as though the entire city is a powder keg, waiting for a spark. My phone remains maddeningly silent, the kidnappers not contacting me further. They're content letting me stew. In the distance, thunder growls, a storm approaching, mirroring the turmoil in my head. I recall my last conversation with Lori, too, her voice full of concern, me brushing her off, claiming urgent business. If only I could confide in her. But how do you explain bombs and kidnapping while trying to protect her from the ugliness? At length, I sink back into my chair, swirling the last dregs of whiskey. A single vow solidifies in my mind. I'll find those who took Ivan and end this fiasco on my terms. Then I'll safeguard the transitions we planned, legitimate expansions, including Stone Hospital's new linen contracts. I will stand by my promise to protect Nyla. My watchers will remain vigilant, ensuring no one sabotages her or her unborn child. All while the kidnappers think they have me cornered. As the storm outside finally breaks, rain battering the window, my phone lights up with an unknown number calling. I snatch it, breath caught in my throat. This must be them, delivering demands or worse. I answer quietly. Yes? A distorted voice says, wait for instructions. Or Ivan dies, and we'll expose everything. The line goes dead. Lightning flashes outside, thunder rattling the glass. I clutch the phone, knuckles white. They're threatening not just me, but the entire empire and all our secrets, including my pact with Jacob to protect Nyla. My choices shrink to a razor's edge. Comply, or risk everything.